Experience Editor, which is it's what's called a front-end editor. It allows you to make changes to a specific page in a more visual manner. We're going to just keep in mind that some pages are good. Some pages are best edited in the content editor, which is this view. Others, it's really best to work in Experience Editor. To access Experience Editor, you can either do that through the dashboard, or you can navigate to the page in the file tree or the search. And once it's loaded in the content editor, like this one is Rethink Church, you click on this Experience Editor just above the preview in the Publish tab. Once you do that, a new browser tab will open and it will populate like this. It is the thing to keep in mind, this is not a one-for-one preview of what the page is going to look like. Instead, it is intended to isolate specific areas and give you a very clear means to edit those sections. So I'm just going to quickly review the concepts of Experience Editor instead of getting into the specific components, because that would take about an hour. And I just want this to be a brief overview of how Experience Editor works. First of all, we have the navigation bar across the top. This nav bar is specific to the Experience Editor. It's interactive. You can click on each of the carets, and that will allow you, or the chevrons, whatever you want to call them, and navigate to sub-pages beneath. So all of these are sections beneath Home, including Home. After Home, these are all the sub-pages. Sorry, those are all the pages on the same level as Home. These are all the pages beneath Home, and so on. So here we have moved from Home, Sandbox, Test Pages, and then we're working on Rethink Church. And if you look at the content editor over here, we're in the UMC, Home, Sandbox, Test Pages, Rethink Church. Now you're going to notice from the content editor, this page, a parent page, does not contain near the data that's being showed on the Experience Editor or the live page. If you scroll down the live page, there are so many different sections, and please keep in mind visually this is not a fully designed page, it's an example. There are only 3 or 4 fields in the content editor. And that's because all parent pages also include something called a page content folder, or the screen folder, which include all the various components which are potentially displayed on that page. Now from the content editor, you don't just view the displayed components. You can see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a dozen or so components. But if you look back on content editor, we have well more than that in this page folder, this page content folder. That's because these are not necessarily components. They're potential components or sets of data that can be used in specific components. I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. If we scroll down, you're going to notice this is a section hero. Well, just for sake of argument, I'm going to duplicate the section hero, create a second instance of it, copy of section hero, and click enter. And that's going to create a perfect duplicate of the section hero. If we go over to the content editor to view this hero, we'll see that the same selections that are in that original section hero have been made. It's a perfect copy. So I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to go over here to the Rethink Church in Experience Editor. So here we have the section hero in Experience Editor. Now, there are lots of different things that you can do. First of all, if you just want to change the active content within this component, you can actually type directly in these sections. It's a very fast way to make updates, and once you save and publish this page, the content editor, these components will also be updated. You want to do your best not to make changes in the content editor while you're making changes in the Experience Editor. What I mean is, you can create new components, but do not save and publish those components simultaneously in the content editor while you're working in the Experience Editor. You can do that, but you have to be very thoughtful when you're balancing the two. So say that I want to change this image. You just click on the hero image and then select this image icon, and you can choose an image from your media library. Like I said, it's all front end. It's very simple to just select a component and change it on the fly And you'll see that that image is updated. Now, if I save this and then publish it, that will be live on the page. Something else I want to show you, though, is this component right now is specifically this set of data in this section hero. But we have a copy of section hero up here that's not being leveraged anywhere on this page. So what if we want two different sets of data available for this section hero? Well, you can do that by duplicating it, like I said. And to change that, you're going to click on the component. And I'm going to scroll up a little bit to bring this up here. This menu will appear, and here, right about a third way from the right or the left, you're going to see this yellow icon with a check bar. That signifies a database or a database entry. So if you click on that, you're going to see change associated content or edit the related item. For now, changing the associated content is going to be your key function for now. Here, this green page content folder that displays by default is the same one that displays beneath our Rethink Church page. So we're going to click back over here, copy of section hero. Now remember, the copy of the section hero wasn't updated like the original, so this image should revert back to that gray placeholder image once we change that selection. It takes a second. That is the drawback to a front-end editor. It's not as fast as a back-end editor. So while we're waiting for that to populate, you can see all the different sections, all the different components that can be edited directly in the Experience Editor. Each of them require a slightly different syntax, but overall, this is the concept of how it works. First, you leverage different pieces of content that are available by default or that have been created in your content editor. You can also create, just as an example, we'll cover that in another module. But for now, this is the overview of the Experience Editor. Next, we're going to get into how to create specific new components within different page types.